The biggest mistake I see so many graduates making these days is that they think that the numbers game still works. They think that with enough applications they'll get into a role, but simply that doesn't work anymore because with what AI has done and how easy it is to get an application out nowadays, there are like hundreds, if not thousands, of applications for every single role. And I'm sure you know that that isn't new knowledge. The LinkedIn Easy Apply button is the easiest thing in the world. And so even if you are a good candidate, because the sheer volume, a lot of hiring managers just switch off. They just think, oh, I don't even not even going to look through this. I can't be asked anymore. Or you do get through, but there is just so much volume that you can't cut through. And so instead, what works is to use the opportunity we have now for a short window. It's not going to exist forever because when you're a hiring manager or you're a senior decision maker, you check your inbox, your email inbox regularly. And so if you're a candidate or someone looking for a role, if you go there instead of into the job portal and the ATS, then you can stand out much more because people aren't doing it as much because people there's a few things stopping people from doing it. Firstly, they don't know where to find the people. Secondly, they don't know what to say to stand out and cut through. And thirdly, they're afraid of what happens when they do reply and how does that actually turn into an opportunity. And so those three things stop people from ever reaching out directly to a decision maker, and instead they take the easy path of just hitting easy apply, doing 400 applications, and then saying, oh, well, that's tough. I didn't get anything. And so when faced with that situation, if I can tell you or show you through my own experience, having gotten 15 offers doing exactly this, how to solve each of those things, then do you think that might help you in getting a role? Maybe give you a different approach that you could try and get a different outcome? That's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to break down each of those three things in a lot of detail. So get some paper, let's make some notes. Firstly, where to find them. So there's a couple ways really. You can firstly go on LinkedIn and you can look up companies on there, either using a blank search where you just press enter and it will just basically show you the LinkedIn search results. And within that, you can then filter for companies in your specific location, in your design industry, and also with 1 to 50 employees, which is the boutique firm range where decision makers do read their emails and you can jump in without an online application. You can also use a platform like Apollo or Hunter or ZoomInfo or Lusher, all these different platforms that collect the data from LinkedIn and give it to you in a really structured way. And also oftentimes it include ways to send emails within the platform. So there's where to find them. The LinkedIn one is free and the other platforms are paid at various costs. But if you honestly, if you value your time at anything more than $5 an hour, then it makes complete sense to just get those platforms because it will save you hundreds of hours. Next, about what to say. So I could talk all day about this, but really what it comes down to is getting their attention. So standing out and not being every other person that's writing job requests or can I get a job in their inbox, because some people are already doing it, but they're doing it terribly. And so they're not getting anything anyway. And also it's about showing the value you can bring. And I know that's such a buzzword, but what does that actually mean? I'll cover that. And also about being personal and concise. So let's break them down one by one. So in terms of cutting through, people are getting emails. They're just terrible. So there's an arbitrage opportunity and leverage in being unique and standing out. So this is taking what's super unique about you. So maybe you climbed a mountain. Maybe you haven't climbed a mountain, but you can climb a mountain this afternoon or this weekend, and you can then say that, which is a bit esoteric, but more grounded. You could say you're previously experienced in a society position at uni, and you can frame that as a lead analyst, a lead consultant, a lead lawyer, whatever it is. Just put that in there in the subject line to capture the eye and get them to open it. And that's the key thing. Just the subject line should be really personal to you with like a standout, unique fact, plus something about looking to help. So looking to help this company, wanting to support, wanting to contribute, wanting to add value to. So proof plus contribution in the subject line. And then what do we go into? We went into adding value to the value. Yeah, it's a buzzword, but what does that mean? even if you have no experience, you can still take work off their plate and free up their time. Crucially, that is valuable. And that's the lowest thing, the lowest possible denominator of stuff you can help with. So you look at the companies you're reaching out to and you think, okay, what kind of work do they typically do? You maybe even look up on Google. What do these companies do? What are some basic tasks that these companies do that people don't typically like to do? And you then reach out saying you'll do those. Because if you haven't got any experience, then what else are you going to do? Like, what else are you going to do? You don't have the credibility to be trusted or honestly have the responsibility to do anything else. So just do that. Do that. And then that's where you add value. You add value in doing things that other people don't want to do. And often you can even offer to do it for free. But you can typically leave the money out of it and they will often offer to pay you anyway. Number 3, being personal. So being personal, it's about showing that it's not a templated, blasted email, but it's actually written for them. But you can do that while still blasting out emails to all of them, is what I did to get 15 offers. There's no way I'm sending thousands of emails manually because I'm too busy for that. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to be manually pressing send for hundreds and thousands of contacts. So how do you make it personal? Well, it comes down to a few things. Use the real name of the person you're addressing the email to in tandem with a personal email. So don't contact the info at company. Don't contact the contact at company. Reach out to first letter last at company of a senior decision maker, someone like a partner, a CEO, managing director, head of a department, C-suite, one of those people, essentially, with their personal email, with all the previous things we've talked about. And then within the email, early on, in the first line, mention something specific about the company that could not have been made up. Every company has something like this. Every company has something unique about them that you can't say for another company, whether it's an award, whether it's a target area, whether it's a recent deal, whether it's a founding story, whether it's an ethos, whatever it is. Mention that super early. Like, the first thing you say is that, so that they can see it in the preview. And then once that's done, you can then go into the rest of the personalization, which involves sporadically dropping into the company name throughout the email. 2 or 3 times works, and also mention the company name in the subject line. And again, I've got no notes here. I've got the OBS open here, and I've got a Chrome tab with nothing on it open here. This is all off the dome. This is I'm in the flow state running this off here for you guys. That's the personalization. And you're thinking, well, that's going to take ages. How do you automate that? Well, if we go back to earlier, we spoke about Apollo and Lusher and ZoomInfo and Hunter. These platforms can let you essentially do a dynamic field where you put in an email template, and then throughout the template, you put things in brackets. And then when you press send, attaching that template to a list of contacts, each with an email, a company name, and a first line, it can then fill in each of those dynamically to the email, and you just press send once, and it sends out 100 unique emails, saving you hundreds of hours. And it can also schedule follow-ups, which again saves you hundreds of hours. And there we go. That's the personalization done. Now it's on being concise. Yeah, simple as that. So people don't have time to be reading essays, so keep it concise, under 150 words really, and then that's that. So if you want to do that, that's how you're going to get a job, not applying on a job board because they're too saturated. And if that sounds manageable, or even if it sounds a bit scary, we've done this. I've done it for myself 15 times, and I've also done it for clients to get 35 plus offers. So if you're tired of applying on a job board and hearing nothing, check out the top link in the description and we can run through the whole thing together. Literally go into how to do it, and we also guarantee you a job in 28 days. And if you don't, you get all your money back. So there's really no risk.